Ramhai Minilik, please take the stage.
Thank you for having me. My name is Ramhai Minilik. I'll be sharing the founding declaration for the advocacy of Tigray's independence, and I'll read it in English. We, the undersigned advocates for the people of Tigray, acting in furtherance of the inherent and inalienable right to self-determination and pursuant to the historical, political, and legal imperatives necessitating such action, do hereby establish and formally constitute an organization to be officially known as Voice for an Independent Tigray, VIT, hereinafter referred to as VIT. Henceforth, we reaffirm our unwavering commitment to upholding the sovereign will of our people. We will pursue all legally justified and necessary measures to achieve Tigray's full independence, in accordance with the fundamental right of nations to self-determination under international law. To this end, we will actively engage regional and international actors to secure recognition and support, utilizing diplomatic, legal, and strategic avenues to realize Tigray's independence. Article 2, Formation. The Voice for Independent Tigray, VIT, was established on February 18th, 2025 in the state of Maryland, United States, by founding members of the Tigrayan diaspora community. Grounded in the knowledge of who we are, our history, our culture, our language, and our legacy, the founding members declare their commitment to securing a sovereign and independent Tigray. Legal foundations. We affirm the inalienable right of the people of Tigray to determine their own political destiny, including the right to independence, as enshrined in Article 39 of the Ethiopian Constitution and upheld by international legal frameworks that recognize self-determination as a fundamental right of all peoples seeking independence. This principle is firmly established under international law and applies to oppressed nations, colonized people, and distinct ethnic or cultural groups striving for self-rule. Other legal instruments include the UN Charter of 1945, the International Convention Civil and Political Rights, and the Helsinki Final Act of 1975. Article 4, the causes. Whereas VIT is formed with the purpose of advocating for Tigray's independence while safeguarding its people from existential threats of extermination. Whereas Tigray has endured repeated acts of genocide perpetrated under successive Ethiopian regimes, causing unimaginable misery and devastation. Whereas for generations, the people of Tigray have steadfastly upheld Ethiopia's unity and sovereignty, making immense sacrifices to defend these ideals and pull Ethiopia out of a deep hole of poverty and famine and change its image on the global stage. They have fought against adversaries and tyranny, safeguarded the country's territorial integrity, and played a pivotal role in shaping its modern history. Yet, despite their unwavering commitment, they have been met with war, genocide, starvation, and systematic oppression. Whereas Tigrayans once participated in the attempt to group together various distinct peoples under a federal system called Ethiopia, we now understand that our future does not lie in a state that has consistently failed to recognize our identity, dignity, and rights. Ethiopia's ruling elites have made clear through word and deed that Tigrayans are neither accepted nor protected within its borders. Whereas Ethiopia has established patterns of propaganda and dehumanization of the Tigrayan people, which are hallmarks of genocide, seeking to strip an entire group of its humanity, reducing them to objects deemed unworthy of existence and devoid of rights. Tigrayans have been branded and dehumanized with derogatory terms such as Satans, cancers, junta, daytime hyenas, weeds, and hosts of lives, among others. Whereas Ethiopia imposed a genocidal war that began on November 3rd, 2020, this particular war has been marked by mass atrocities, including the deaths of millions, torture, imprisonment, barbaric sexual violence, including gang rapes and sexual slavery, ethnic cleansing, displacement, and the destruction of countless lives. Moreover, industries, schools, and healthcare facilities were deliberately vandalized, pillaged, and confiscated, leading to widespread socioeconomic crises and the collapse of essential services, leaving the survivors in dire condition. Whereas their homes have been burned, their families slaughtered, and their dignity stripped away. Instead of protecting its citizens, the Ethiopian government waged the war in collaboration with foreign and domestic actors to enable the suffering of the people and deny them justice. Ethiopian elites have openly declared that Tigrayans should be erased from history, that any monument, name, or record bearing witness to Tigray's contributions must be abolished, that the name Tigray should be legally banned, and that any mother who gave birth to a Wayana must be destroyed, and on and on. Whereas deliberate campaigns of political and economic sabotage, coupled with organized and sophisticated propaganda, are strategically designed to destabilize and perpetuate the annihilation of the Tigrayan people, further deepening their suffering and existential vulnerability. The situation in Tigray remains an intricate and multifaceted challenge, with the plight of the people worsening and the deliberate human-made catastrophic conditions have escalated to unprecedented levels and no discernible relief in sight. Whereas independent international media outlets, Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, and the International Commission of Human Rights Experts of Ethiopia and other advocates and researchers have reported that genocidal war has resulted in a harrowing humanitarian crisis. Whereas perhaps the most alarming is that the perpetrators of these unspeakable crimes continue to act with absolute impunity, emboldened by the world's failure to hold them accountable. Whereas when a people face extermination and exclusion, what choice do they have? When their calls for justice are met with silence, their hopes for peace are crushed, and their very existence is denied, what alternative remains? Therefore, the situation has reached a point where it is morally, politically, and humanly unacceptable for Tigray to remain occupied by Ethiopia, a country that has deemed them unworthy of existence and devoid of rights. Independence is now the only path left for survival and dignity. The trust that once bound Tigray to Ethiopia has been irreparably shattered. How can Tigrayans survive under the occupation of a country that seeks their annihilation? How can they pledge allegiance to a nation that denies their right to exist? Therefore, independence is not a desire born of arrogance or hatred. It is a reclamation of life, security, and the right to a future free of oppression. Therefore, let the world and all people understand Tigray seeks independence as a continuation of a vision that was fought and sacrificed for throughout history, including during our 17-year war, where many Tigrayans gave their lives for the sake of Tigray's freedom and independence. This vision has remained unchanged across generations, and we are committed to carrying it forward. Tigray does not pursue independence out of bitterness or vengeance, but out of vision, purpose, and historical truth. This is a sovereign declaration of who we are and what we will become. Our pursuit of independence is not a rejection of others, it is an affirmation of ourselves. Therefore, Tigray's path to independence is not a reaction, it is a return to self-determination, to the agency we have long possessed, and to the dignity we have never relinquished. If peace and justice had been possible within Ethiopia, Tigrayans would have helped build that future. But the consistent denial of our rights has affirmed what we already know. Tigray must chart its own course. Henceforth, the situation in Tigray has reached a critical juncture, demanding urgent action to establish VIT as a driving force for Tigray's independence. Understanding the complexities of geopolitical dynamics in the Horn of Africa and beyond is crucial. It is imperative for VIT to develop a comprehensive, multi-tiered strategy at the national, regional, and international levels to effectively advocate for Tigray's independence. The creation of strategic alliances and substantive engagements with policymakers, diplomats, and other influential figures is critically essential to elevating VIT's cause on the global stage. Only through such a deliberate and structured approach can advocacy efforts for VIT achieve meaningful and lasting impact. Therefore, through unified voices, political action, and grassroots mobilization, VIT will empower the people of Tigray, anchoring its mission and vision. VIT is steadfast in its commitment to build a future where the people of Tigray not only survive, but truly thrive, living with dignity and peace that is enduring and transformative. VIT envisions an independent Tigray where the wounds of the past no longer define its people, allowing them to shape their own destiny with strength and resilience. Mission and vision. Our mission. VIT advocates for Tigray's independence by empowering its people through unified voices, political action, and grassroots mobilization, grounded in democratic values, a commitment to human rights, and a vision for sustainable development. VIT strives to build a future where Tigrayans can live with dignity, security, and peace. Vision. VIT aspires for Tigray to become a fully recognized, independent state, actively contributing to global peace, security, and development through strategic partnerships and participation in international initiatives. VIT will advocate for international recognition and support, working with governments and organizations and institutions worldwide. VIT will establish robust educational programs to raise awareness of Tigray's history, struggles, and aspirations, engaging global citizens and stakeholders to support Tigray's independence. We call upon all Tigrayans, allies, and supporters of justice and self-determination to stand with us in this historical struggle. We urge political, civic, and community organizations to join forces in advancing the cause of an independent Tigray. We invite all freedom-loving nations and institutions to recognize our legitimate quest for self-determination and to support the establishment of a free and sovereign Tigray. Thank you. I did want to say a couple of words just to follow, but that's the full declaration. Again, my name is Ramhai Menelik. I am the co-founder of an organization called Free Tigray. I'm really grateful to be here. I'm joining today just like all of you as a Tigrayan. And I just wanted to talk a little bit more about the importance of this organization, this effort, and all of our ownership of this movement, what it means to each of us. I know that being from Tigray does not just mean that I'm from a specific land or territory on this planet. Being Tigrayan holds the weight of my ancestors and the impact that they carved into history. Being Tigrayan is an honor and a privilege that comes with a natural-born duty. It's the fire in my heart and my willingness to sacrifice for the betterment of my people. At the start of the most recent genocide, I asked many questions as to how we ended up in this position. Within the first few months, I decided to start an organization that stood for independence as a path forward. I quickly learned that many people were reluctant to this idea. They could not get past the limitations imposed on us, and they could not imagine a Tigray beyond its occupation by Ethiopia. When people would respond to me out of fear of the idea, I knew that they were denying what they knew to be true in their hearts. To deny Tigray's independence as a Tigrayan is to deny yourself. This effort will be successful if we are able to come together, learn, and know who we are. We cannot reduce ourselves to our mere political affiliations or our towns and villages. We are not rivals of one another. We are one people. And that is why what this effort is made for. Our understanding of who we are, We will never need the acceptance of others if we understand exactly who it is we are. I'm grateful to all of the founders behind VIT that have worked diligently to bring this to life. And I just want to remind everyone that this vision belongs to us and everyone should feel responsible for seeing it through. And Free Tigray and an independent Tigray is all of our duties. So we should make sure that we spread this importance and understand that it's up to us. I'm just as responsible as you are to see this through. So thank you.
Thank you so very much, Ramhai, for this eloquent speech and of the declaration, and also for your wonderful witness about this gathering and this particular entity that we are declaring today, the voice for the independent Tigray. We thank you so very much again.